Sometimes the world tries to explain you before you ever get the chance to introduce yourself. And sometimes the shadows speak your name before your own voice does. And somehow in that confusion, you begin to forget the truth, that you were never designed by accident. You were never meant to be small. You were never meant to disappear into the noise. You were built to rise through it. And yet here you stand with so many eyes watching you, so many opinions chasing you, so many whispered assumptions, trying to rewrite the story you haven't even finished living. But let me tell you something that the world rarely says out loud. Your story is still untouched. Your identity is still unfolding. Your strength is still in the process of waking up. You are far from finished, and the world has barely seen the beginning of you. And before we go any deeper, before we let the old memories and the old doubts unravel, I want you to take a breath. Because if you are listening to this right now, if you are feeling this, if something in your chest is pulling you forward, then I want you to stay here with me, to subscribe, to keep coming back, to let your heart grow with each message I send to like this. If your soul feels even a spark of recognition, and to comment your thoughts, because your voice matters here, your presence matters here, your growth is seen here. And every time you return, every time you choose to listen, you choose your evolution again and again and again, because of what people uncovered about you. A special team stepped in, not the kind of team you see in movies, not the kind that arrives with noise or drama, but the kind that watches from the edges of your life, the kind that waits silently until the moment you begin to fall apart, the kind that knows your breaking point long before you reach it. They stepped in because something in your life shifted, something in your heart cracked open, something in your silence became too loud to ignore. They stepped in because they saw that the world had started shaping you into something that was never meant for you. They saw that something priceless in you was beginning to dim under the weight of what others said about you. They stepped in because your identity, your power, your potential, your destiny was being threatened by the stories other people were telling about you and the stories you began to believe. You see, sometimes it takes the world misunderstanding you to remind you that you were never meant to be understood by everyone. Sometimes it takes the world misjudging you to remind you that your truth is deeper than their perception. Sometimes it takes people uncovering pieces of you they never deserved to hold for you to finally realize that the only one who should define you is you and the universe, the unseen, the forces that guard the path of the ones who are chosen. They noticed that something inside you was beginning to crumble. They noticed how the words of others began sticking to your skin, how the doubts began weaving themselves into your breath, how the fear began shaping your choices. And they said enough, and they stepped in. But the strangest part is this: you still don't recognize who you are. You still wake up thinking you are ordinary, thinking you are fragile, thinking you are one mistake away from falling apart completely. You still confuse your wounds for weakness. You still confuse your past for your destiny. You still confuse your fears for your identity. You haven't seen yourself fully yet. You haven't met the version of you that rises in silence, the version of you that doesn't need validation, the version of you that walks through the world with the calm power of someone who knows exactly what they're made of. You haven't met the version of you that the special team stepped in to protect. What people uncovered about you was not your truth. It was only the parts of your journey you outgrew, the mistakes that shaped you, the flaws that softened you, the lessons that strengthened you. They uncovered your past, but they never understood your becoming. They uncovered your struggles, but they never witnessed your discipline. They uncovered your failures, but they had no idea how many times you chose to rise quietly in the places where nobody was watching. They uncovered your old chapter, but you're already writing a new one. And the only reason their words still sting is because you haven't stepped fully into that chapter yet. It's time. Time to stop letting the opinions of others sculpt the shape of your soul. Time to stop shrinking because someone else felt uncomfortable with your potential. Time to stop carrying the weight of expectations that were never meant for you. Time to stop apologizing for who you are and start becoming who you were always meant to be. The special team stepped in because the world was getting too close to making you forget your own power. They stepped in because there is something inside you that cannot be allowed to fade. Something the world needs, something that will shift lives and change directions and break generational patterns. Something the world is not ready for, but desperately needs. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are awakening. You are learning. You are remembering. You are stepping into a version of yourself that is stronger than the challenges you faced, deeper than the wounds you carry, and brighter than the darkness that tried to swallow you. And yes, people will talk. People will misunderstand. People will misjudge. Let them. Let them talk about the old version of you while you quietly build a new one. Let them argue about who they think you are while you become who you actually are. Let them doubt you while you rise higher than anything they could have imagined. You still don't recognize who you are, and that is the beautiful, terrifying, powerful truth. Because recognition is a process. The moment you recognize your own strength, the world changes. The moment you recognize your own worth, every door opens differently. The moment you recognize your own voice, the noise of others loses its power. And the moment you recognize your own destiny, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not doubt, not judgment, not the pieces of your past that tried to haunt you. Nothing. Because of what people uncovered about you, a special team stepped in. But now it's your turn. Your turn to step in for yourself. Your turn to protect your growth, your peace, your evolution. Your turn to guard your spirit the way it deserved to be guarded long ago. Your turn to rise without asking for permission. And when you finally do, when you finally see yourself clearly, when you finally realize why those forces stepped in for you, you will look back at every misunderstanding, every judgment, every false story, every criticism, and you will whisper the truth to yourself, the truth you were always meant to discover. I was never defined by what they saw. I was defined by what I became. And you are still becoming, and you are not done, not even close. You still don't recognize who you are, but you will, soon. And when you do, the world will too. But recognition is not a sudden flash of lightning. It is slow, steady, unshakable. It is the way the ground feels different under your feet. When you finally choose to stop running from yourself, you begin to notice how every moment of your life tried to point you towards something greater, something deeper, something you weren't ready to understand back then. And now, as the dust begins to settle and the noise begins to fade, a new kind of silence forms around you, a silence that doesn't scare you anymore, a silence that feels like a doorway instead of a wall. Because this is the moment when you begin to feel that maybe, just maybe, the version of you the world tried to bury is the same version that is about to rise from the ground. They never expected you to stand on again. And people will wonder how you held yourself together when everything tried to pull you apart. They will wonder how you kept moving when the weight of so many expectations pressed against your chest like invisible storms. They will wonder how you kept breathing when every doubt tried to steal your air. But they will never know the truth. They will never know how many nights you sat with your own thoughts searching for a single reason to keep going. They will never know how many times you chose hope even when you couldn't feel it. They will never know how often you whispered strength into your own heart when your voice was shaking. They will never know how many battles you fought silently when no one was there to witness your courage, because all they uncovered were pieces, fragments, shadows. They uncovered the moments where you broke, but not the moments where you rebuilt. They uncovered the mistakes you made, but not the wisdom you earned. They uncovered the chapters where you were learning, but not the chapters where you were rising. They uncovered the surface of you, but not the depths, because the depths of you were always hidden for a reason. Your growth was never meant to be public. Your healing was never meant to be explained. Your transformation was meant to be felt by you before it was seen by anyone else. You still don't recognize who you are because you are standing in the middle of a transformation that is too big to understand from the inside. You are becoming someone you have never been before, someone stronger, someone clearer, someone braver, someone more grounded than any version of you that ever existed. And it takes time for the mind to catch up to what the soul already knows. The soul evolves first. The spirit rises first. The identity shifts first. And the mind is left trying to understand why everything suddenly feels different, why old habits don't fit anymore, why old fears don't control you the way they used to, why old voices don't echo as loudly as they once did. And this is why they stepped in. Because the world often becomes the loudest right before you rise. People talk the most right before you become someone they never expected you to be. Judgments become sharpest right before your identity becomes unshakable. Pressure becomes strongest right before your breakthrough appears. And the unseen team around you knew that you were close. They knew you were on the edge of something powerful, something life-changing, something that would redefine everything you thought you were. But they also knew you weren't ready to face that final stretch alone. Not yet. Not in the state you were in. Not with the doubts still clinging to you like shadows that refused to let go. So they intervened, quietly, softly, not to rescue you, but to remind you of the fire still inside you, remind you of the strength you tried to hide, remind you of the purpose you tried to ignore, remind you that even though you felt alone, you never were, and even though you felt forgotten, you were always being prepared. And now, as you stand here breathing in a new kind of air, stepping into a new kind of identity, the world around you begins to shift. Opportunities begin moving toward you without force. People who match your new energy begin appearing without explanation. Paths you once feared begin opening, like they were always meant for your feet. And a quiet truth begins forming in the back of your mind, a truth you're not ready to say out loud, but you can feel it softly whispering. This time, your life is changing, and it's not going to break you. This time, your story is unfolding, and it's not going to drown you. This time, your steps are aligned, and nothing is going to pull you backward. And one day, not far from now, you will wake up and feel something you haven't felt in a long time. The sense that you belong to yourself, at last. The sense that you are no longer performing for the world. The sense that you no longer shrink for the comfort of others. The sense that you no longer dim your light to fit into places that were never meant for you. You will feel the shift. You will feel the clarity. You will feel the truth settling into your bones, like it was always meant to be there, and you will recognize it. Not because someone told you, not because the world approved, but because your soul finally feels like home. And the version of you that rises from this moment will not look back with bitterness or anger, but with understanding, because every misunderstanding shaped you, every judgment strengthened you, every challenge carved you into someone capable of carrying the weight of their own destiny. And the strange, beautiful, powerful revelation will hit you all at once, You were never being destroyed. You were being rebuilt. And when you finally recognize who you are, when you finally stand in the fullness of your identity, when you finally breathe without fear, when you finally speak without trembling, when you finally become the version of yourself the world tried so hard to mislabel, you will understand why that special team stepped in for you. They didn't step in because you were weak. They stepped in because you were chosen. They stepped in because you mattered. They stepped in because your story carries a strength the world is not ready to overlook. They stepped in because the next chapter of your life requires someone who knows exactly who they are, exactly what they deserve, and exactly where they are going. And that someone is you, the real you, the you that is still emerging, the you that you are finally beginning to meet. You still don't recognize who you are, but soon the whole world will, and there will come a morning when you open your eyes and something feels different, even before you move, even before you speak, even before your mind has the chance to remember the long road that led you here. It will feel as if the weight you carried for years finally slipped off your shoulders during the night, as if the parts of you that were once tangled in doubt finally loosened, as if the version of you who struggled to understand their value finally stepped aside to make space for someone stronger, someone clearer, someone true. You won't even realize it at first, but you will sense it like a quiet shift inside your chest, a warmth, a clarity, a presence that wasn't there before. And on that morning, you will understand something your past self never believed you will understand, that the pain didn't shape you the way you feared it shaped you the way you needed. You will understand that every misunderstanding was a filter, removing the people who were never meant to walk with you. You will understand that every doubt was a doorway, guiding you back to yourself. You will understand that every quiet night spent wrestling with your own thoughts was building a foundation inside you that nothing can shake now. Because every moment that tried to break you was secretly strengthening you for this very version of your life. But this realization doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives like soft waves washing over you, showing you piece by piece who you have truly become. You begin noticing that you no longer react to things that once consumed you. You no longer chase conversations that drain you. You no longer argue with voices that don't know your truth. You no longer shrink when someone questions your path. And this ease, this emotional stability, this quiet confidence is the earliest sign that you are finally meeting the real you, the one who existed beneath every layer of fear and expectation, the one who the special team stepped in to protect before you even knew your own strength. Because the world has a way of shining harsh lights on people during their becoming. People comment without understanding. People assume without knowing. People speak without care. And they think they uncovered your truth, but they only uncovered their own projections. They thought they saw your weaknesses, but they only saw the chapters where you were still learning. They thought they saw your limits, but they were only seeing the walls you were in the process of breaking. They thought they understood you, but they never even scratched the surface of who you were destined to be. And maybe the reason you still don't recognize yourself is because you spent too long being defined by reflections that were never accurate. You looked into mirrors shaped by other people's opinions and began believing the distortions. You carried labels that were handed to you by individuals who never knew the full story. You carried blame that wasn't yours, and fear that wasn't yours, and expectations that were never meant for you. And somewhere along the path, you forgot that your identity was never supposed to be built from the outside in, but from the inside out. And now finally you are learning to silence every voice except the one within you. This inner voice, the one you tried to quiet for so long, is awakening again. It is softer than the world. It is patient. It is wise. It is honest in ways you avoided. And it doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It simply reminds you who you were always meant to be. It says, rise, even when your fear says hide. It says, remember, even when your mind says forget. It says, trust, even when your past says doubt. And the more you listen to it, the more you realize how powerful it truly is. Because this is the voice that guided you through nights when no one knew you were hurting. This is the voice that brought you here, even when you didn't know where here was. And this is the voice that will guide you to everything that belongs to you. And yes, people will notice the change. They will see the strength returning to your eyes, the clarity returning to your steps, the calm returning to your presence. Some will respect it. Some will fear it. Some will misunderstand it. And some will pretend they never doubted you at all. But none of that matters, because you will finally be walking in a truth that doesn't require permission. You will finally be carrying an identity that doesn't collapse under pressure. You will finally be living from a place within yourself that nothing external can shake. And when you reach that point, when you stand firmly in your becoming, when you breathe without the old weight, when you speak without the old fear, when you move without the old hesitation, you will understand something that will change everything. You will understand why the world had to be loud before you rose, why people had to uncover things about you that weren't meant for them, why a special team had to step in to protect the parts of you that weren't ready to be exposed to the world. You will understand that your journey wasn't random, your challenges weren't accidents, your struggles weren't punishments. They were preparation. Preparation for a life greater than your past. Preparation for an identity stronger than your old beliefs. Preparation for a destiny that requires the real you, not the version of you shaped by fear. And now, the world is shifting the ground under your feet, is changing the life you thought you lost, is slowly returning in a form more powerful than before. And soon, very soon, you will stand face to face with the truth you've been searching for, the truth that will echo in your heart like a revelation, long overdue. You were never lost. You were never broken. You were never forgotten. You were evolving. And one day you will look back at this chapter with the deepest sense of gratitude, not because it was easy, but because it revealed the one thing you had been blind to for too long: your strength, your purpose, your identity, your calling, your becoming. And you will finally whisper the truth that will change everything for you. I recognize myself now, and the world will recognize you too. Not because they uncovered something about you, but because you finally uncovered yourself. And so this is where your path leads you now, to a moment that feels both fragile and unbreakable. A moment where the past stands behind you silent and powerless, and the future